Welcome to Amaka Intellectual Factory, where I host podcasts and many other interesting stuff. The book reviews continue. So if you haven't already watched part 1 of part 9 of my book reviews on Virginia Woolf's novel, Orlando, please, by all means, do that after this video or at your earliest convenience. And also accompany these videos or articles that you have access to on my website, www.amakaintellectualfactory.com. So starting from today to the 18th of this month, I would be posting up videos every day and articles on my website to cover my book reviews on Virginia Woolf's novel, Orlando. And just like part 1, by the time you're listening to this video, the article would be up on my website, www.amakaintellectualfactory.com. So without further ado, let us go right into my article on Virginia Woolf's novel. Here we go. Moors, Blackamoors, and Negroes. All skin folk ain't kin folk. Part 2 of my book review on Virginia Woolf's novel Orlando is gonna be a short article. This is because I did not count every single time the words Moors, Blackamoors, and Negroes were mentioned. However, I did take a few notes. All skin folk ain't kin folk. That's right. I learned that from Black Americans. And you know what? It is perfectly fine. We do not have to fake a genetic connection to get along, partner with each other, and build together. I blame this confusion on Pan-Africanism and Afrocentrism. Anyway, that's a topic for another day. On the Moors, the biographer might have been referring to a people dark in complexion, as well as a dark-haired Caucasian people as Moors. As for the Negroes and Blackamoors, there is no doubt in my mind that these were two different types of Black people. Why then was it important for Orlando to refer to these different types of Black people by different names? That is, Moors, Blackamoor, and Negroes, was my question. Why did Orlando not simply generalize them as Black people? I will tell you why. Because there is no such thing as a uniform Black people. There are different types of Black people with their distinct genetics or DNA, culture, food, thinking, spirit, and way of life. I know this is a tough pill to swallow, but it is the truth. In chapter 1, the biographer wrote, soldiers planned the conquest of the Moor and the downfall of the Turk. As mentioned earlier, The way the Moors were written about in the novel suggested that it referred to two types of people. One, a different type of black people, and the other, a dark-haired Caucasian people. It is also necessary to mention that every time Moors were mentioned, they were mentioned as the villains and always written of negatively. Now, this is the 16th century during the reign of Queen Elizabeth I. If you study history, then the consistent negative portrayal of Moors in this novel will not surprise you because of the predatory role Moors played in both the history of Europeans and Africans. The biographer wrote in chapter 2, and I quote, "Until even the Blackamoor, whom they call Grace Robinson." This is in reference to a housekeeper, and I will not be far-fetched to assume this was how very dark-skinned people of a certain phenotype were identified, and I mean as Blackamoor. Still on chapter 2, Orlando reminisces, slashing, and I quote, "at a dead Nigger's head." Of course, we know that Nigger is a derogatory word for Negroes. The point here is that in our modern times, we recklessly and dangerously classify all black people, quote and unquote, as black people, quote and unquote, without taking into consideration the problems that result from failing to see the distinction between the Negro and the Blackamoor, for example. The old world appeared to understand the necessity of making these distinctions, especially because of the various roles the different types of black people played in the old world and even the older worlds before that. For the old world, it was easy to identify a Blackamoor, not just phenotypically, but behaviorally. Likewise, the Negro, and likewise, the Moor. In future articles, I will break down why the distinction among the various types of black people is important, and why Pan-Africanism and Afrocentrism is the worst thing that ever happened to the various types of black people, no matter how well-intentioned some of its propagators were and are. The end of my article. And that brings an end to part 2 of 9 of my book review on Virginia Woolf's novel, Orlando. So what do you think? As always, I invite you to feel free to share your comments in the comments section. I always look forward to them. That's all I have to say for now. Until next time, take care of your lovely selves. And remember, life is beautiful and worth living.